Yeah, Ali Madad friends, thank you for joining. We have Dr. Rubina. She is going to continue the presentation today on the wisdom of Baraka, the blessings. And welcome, Dr. Rubina Sahiba.
Okay, thank you. So yesterday we have discussed few aspect of Barakat and Baraka and blessings. Today I'm going to give little bit of the concept of Barakat, philosophy and Quranic philosophy basically, and the term Baraka, Mubarak, Tabarak. These concepts are a huge concepts in Quran and how it is used in Islamic world, and how Imam of the time have used these terminology, and how we can use these terminology in our daily life and understand the esoteric meaning of that. So first of all, Hazrat Imam made a farman many times and in many occasions that it is very important to learn the parts of Quran and its meaning. And Imam says that I hope that you will not forget that meaning is the foundation of our concept of Islam, because our concept, which is Smiley Tariqa, is esoteric and not exoteric, which means that meaning is for our Jamaat and it's for our Tariqa. So do not forget this. So that means that the concepts which are in the Quran, the parts of the Quran which are very deeply rooted in Islam, its meaning are important. So in that context, we'll see we will not be able to do justice in this 1 hour, but whatever I can do will bring some of the important ayat where Baraka, Tabarak, Barkat, Mubarak is being used. So in Baraka in multiple forms, this is the Arabic term. In multiple forms, it is being used in Quran 32 times, and Barakat is basically Urdu. So philosophy, Islamic and a Quranic philosophy, we will be able to understand. Yesterday also we discussed that Barakat means endless divine, endless good, and very importantly it's a continuity, it's perpetual, so it's living in every time. In Smiley Tarika, it's always living, so every concept is living, every concept is present, and every concept is very connected to the personal world. So it's a continuous process, is a prosperity with internal and spiritual and intellectual blessings. So it is not only blessings are for external or a physical world, but also for an internal and spiritual world. So two main examples where Mubarakan, the words which are mentioned in Quranic are Surah 41, which is Surah Fussilat, and Surah 50, Surah Saad. So these two ayat where Quran symbolize that Barakat or Mubarak is related to water, which the chain of the water, flow of water in many forms which never ends. And the other is like the mountain which are standing high, and it is a means of sustenance, because if you see mountains, there are a lot of things coming from the mountain, all gems, all minerals, all kind of things are coming from the mountains. So water or a rain, its flow, its means of sustenance, and then it gives the life. Without water, physical life is not possible, and due to all those mountains and minerals and gardens and trees, life is there. So the in the physical life, if we see these two ayats are very important, and similarly we have to convert that into the spiritual meaning and the intellectual meaning. That what rain means, we already have known that rain is a blessing, and it's a blessing in terms of knowledge coming from the sky, and mountains underneath, lot of minerals, vegetables, these are all the meaning of sustenance. And we have a chain of hujjat and chain of all the ranks, which are from the mountains. So not going to the too much details, but some of the concept, and if we see dissect this philosophy into body, soul, and intellect. So even human body, the external physical existence, the body requires all those sustenance, mubarak things. Soul requires all important concept, or all important requirement for our soul to nourish. One is divine love, ibadat, tasbih, sujood, all those kinds, ibadat are very powerful to get spiritual strength. And similarly, intellectual barakah is through the knowledge and the marifat. But the very important things are, if you see the circles, they all are very much interconnected. So if you leave one, then the intellect and the body, it's difficult to survive. If you leave the body, then soul and intellect could not survive. If you do only knowledge and marifat and strive these, and without the divine love, without zikr, intellect cannot be survived. So it is very important, they are inter related. And in a hadith it is said that most beloved, so you see, beloved creature means the one who loves God, is created in the beloved servant. So the intellect is created in the person who received the divine love, or who indulged into the love of Mola or love of God. So therefore, these two things, soul and intellect, are very very important. And naturally we give importance to body as well. We take care of our body, we take care of its health, we take care of everything to see that our body health is not compromised. Similarly, there are multiple things where our soul strength and the intellectual health is not compromised. So therefore the term baraka is the continuity, or infinite blessings, infinite rain of the love and the ilm is continually happening. So this is very important. Sorry, I have to. Okay, so the term tabarak or baraka, it's very importantly mentioned in where Allah says that Allahu ahsanul khaliqin, means he is the best of the creators. So there are lot of creators, but Allah is the best creator. And why he is the best creator? Because he is barkat wala. He has a full giving us the last creation. So in the creation stages, and in many ayats, and you must have read that there are 7 stages of creation. And this creation is for a human being also, and this creation is for the world of Islam also. And these 7 stages are also for the Ismailism, but I'm not going to go into the detail. But this Ahsanal Khaliqin and Khaliqe Akhir means the last creation. So Allah is saying that He has made first the quintessence of clay, then nutfa, then akla. And if you see the right side, it's the Arabic, and the meaning here, the musga, azam, which bone, laham, and then khalik, khalike akhir means a complete man, or a Ahsanul Khaliqin has completed the human body. So it is also in a medicine science we have said that okay, this is the complete creation where the embryos goes through different developmental stages and then finally he grow into a complete baby. So this is also true, but it has a deeper meaning where there are multiple stages in the spiritual and intellectual development also. And the finally khalke akhir is jussai ibdaya, which is a luminous body. And this is the final creation Allah is alluding to when he is saying that fatabarakallahu, like he is tabarakal means he is giving the new creation because he is the blessed, and his blessing is not only for this physical creation, but his blessing goes and continually grow a person to grow spiritually, then intellectually, and then turn the person and give that person a jussai ibdaya, a subtle body, and which is the last creation. So in the context of spiritual journey, once after going through multiple levels of Isme Azam, multiple spiritual stages, then the final stage is the stage of getting getting Jusai Ibdaya, which is subtle body or Jisme Latif. And this Jisme Latif is with the Imam of the time. So this is basically all seven stages is the story of a Momin who walks to the path of Sirate Mustaqim. They started the journey from Isme Azam, then through different stages, go to finally into spiritual Qiyamah, and then Ilmi Qiyamah, and then finally the person or the Arif receive this subtle body, and which is the body. So when Allah talks about the body, that means physical body also, but it's mainly alluding to the this subtle body as well, because in Bihisht we all will get this subtle body. We have a bodies, we have a soul and the intellect, but not with this bones and flesh and all alaka and musga and all those, but it's a subtle body, and there are numerous miracles of those subtle body. And this subtle body where we called, when we ask Imam of the time that Nurani Didar Naseeb Kar. So this Nurani, basically it's a Zahiri, Batini, Nurani. So when we call Zahiri means this physical Didar, then Batini means inside ourself, and then Nurani means in the Jussai Ibdaya, in the subtle body, Imam can come in that body and then gives the Didar. So that is extreme blessing to the moment when it relates to the body. So if Allah has said that Fatabarakallah Ahsanal Khaliqin, that He is the best creator, and He is blessed us with a best creation. So if insan, or we call the khalaqal insan, is a best creature in a physical form also, but more so in the spiritual and the nurani form, which is the final destination. So from the physical to spiritual to intellectual to nurani, these stages are continuously growing, where Momin, when decides to walk on the path of the Sirat-e Mustaqim. Then there is another ayat where the blessing is for both the world. So after making this clear that this body, it's the blessing is for the physical body, but then also for the nurani body, also for the subtle body. But then the blessing is for this world and also the world after, khalq and amr. So we all know that there are two worlds, khalq and amr. In khalq, creation needs time. In amr, it's through kun fayakun, and it doesn't need time. So blessing of Allah is for both the world. And Allah, when He says that He's created this earth and heaven into 6 days, it has a lot of meaning because it's a six natik and then asas. But then He said that the creation and command which be belongs to Him, belongs to Allah. Then it says, "Blessed is Allah, Lord of all the worlds." So He is blessed, like He is giving the blessings to Khalq and to Amr. That means to both this physical world and the spiritual world, this both belongs to Him. And when it belongs to Him, then means all the blessings in this physical world and in the spiritual world is because of His blessings and His infinite mercies. So it's these infinite mercies, the Lord of the world, this spread His mercies, and this is key. And if we and in many instances in Farman and Ginan, we heard that the important key to get the blessing of Imam Zaman or Allah, then in this world and in hereafter, is zikr, is ibadat, and it's ilm. So through ilm and through zikr, we can get more and more blessings for this physical world also, and for the next world also. It means that for our personal world also, and then for our alam insaniyat and the world after as well. Yesterday, Yasmin just touched upon where Musa's story, where it says that he sees, he saw light, and there is an ayat. I have not mentioned the ayat number. Yeah, it's a 27 Surah Namal ayat 8, where it says that Burika man finnar. So that means blessed. Burika means blessed. Uh, Whoever is in the fire and who are around that fire. So when Musa decided to return to Egypt, and he and his family began his journey, and on the way he said that I will bring you, because there was it was a winter time. So Musa said that I can see a fire near this Tur, Mount Tur. So he said that I can bring a fire and I'll go and investigate. So this is the Zahiri story, a physical story, but actually this fire is not a material fire, but this is the light of Allah. So in many tafsir, it is being said that this light is basically Allah, and He has done the didar. But for our interpretation, He actually has seen Imam's light. So an Imam's light spoke. So this is the God's Mazhar light, and God says that I am the light. And then He said that Anna Burika Man Finnari Wamin Haulaha, that blessed who are in the fire and who are around this. So that means that this light is the light of the Imam. It's a divine love, is the fire of love, fire of intellect, fire of spirituality. So these are very important concept when we say that this fire is basically the fire. One meaning of fire is definitely the fire of ignorance, but the other meaning is the fire of love. Other meaning is the light, when this fire convert into the light to make us grow spiritually and intellectually. So therefore Imam says that I was this light, I am this light, and it is a greatest secret in this light. And this light was also the guidance for Hazrat Musa, because his inner eye was open due to the zikr, and when he sees that light in his personal world, then that was the blessing. And in that term, Allah is saying that blessed is the one who is in this fire and those who are around, that means all those who are in this hidayat, in Imam's hidayat, are blessed. And hidayat for the soul, and hidayat or this guidance for intellect. So these guidance is through the knowledge and the wisdom, and Musa was receiving this guidance through Isme Azam, and then gradually into going into the knowledge and the wisdom. So this is very important, that if Musa only has not seen this light, or Musa was not only under this hidayat or under the light of guidance, but all those around the Musa are also under the guidance of Imam of the time. So under the guidance of Musa or guidance of the Imam of that time, and now we have this light in form of the guidance, and we all those around that guidance who struggle for those guidance or the light, there is a blessing for all those moments. There are three main important, if you read the Baraka or Tabarak or Mubarak, then there are three main treasures which can be called Mubarak, and they are interrelated and they are related to the Imam of the time. There are multiple other things, but there are three important mentions in Quran, where one is the wise Quran, is the holy book, the holy places, holy mosque, and the supreme name, where this Mubarak, Tabarak, has been linked in the ayats of the Quran. So in the treasure, it is in ayat 6 by 92, Quran says that Holy Quran is the treasure where you see lot of blessings, lot of bounties, and these bounties and the blessings never cease. So barakah and the barakat means it doesn't cease, it grows, it continues. So this Quran, the wise Quran, and we'll see each one separately also where this term comes. So these Quran, if we see, and even if we have read the parts of the Quran and ponder on it, or maybe discuss with the other books and other terminology, we'll see, and we all have experienced that we receive different meaning at a different time. So that means that in only one ayat or a one surah, we get into the different meanings. So what does that means? That the meanings or the esoteric aspect or the spiritual connection of that ayat is, or Quranic ayat, while you reflect, and once you reflect, you go into the deeper meaning, and it goes into the new meaning every time you, when you reflect, there is a new meaning coming on. So that is the blessing, because when you start reflection, this is also a ilmi ibadat. When you do ilmi ibadat, when you do reflect, even in your this Quranic matter, connecting Imam's Farman and the Ginan, you go and you receive the blessings by getting the new dimension and the new meaning. Similarly, while doing the zikr and mosque or the holy places where there is a mention of why the mosque is a place of a barakah, and here now we going into the Jamaat Khana, which is the place of Barakat. So these are the three blessed things. We'll go one by one. So just yeah, so Mubarak Quran or the blessed Quran, this ayat is Surah 38 by 29, and where it is says that Quran is blessed or Quran is Mubarak or Tabarak. And this ayat where it says that one of the name of the Quran is Mubarak, where it says Kataba Anzalnahu Ilayka Mubarak uh, liyaddibiru, means that this Quran is Mubarak, and you have to do yudabbir, you have to do reflection and reflect upon him, reflect upon the verses of the Quran to attain this Quranic blessing. So the reflection, ponder, and these discussions, ilmi etikaf and the ilmi ibadat is very very important to reflect on this ayat. So the blessings which is hidden in each of the ayat of the Quran, we can receive those blessings. So Allama Sahib in one of his book is says that he who loves the beauty of meaning of the Quran should understand the example of its blessing properly. If material example of blessing or a barakat continues forever and never cease, if you see mountains, rains, these are constantly flowing and there's a perpetual growth. So how can it is possible that if Quran is Mubarak, if holy places are Mubarak, if Jamaat Khana is Mubarak, if Imam's Farman is Mubarak, then the flow of Batini meanings just ceases. So it continues and its dimensions are open and it goes on continuity till we get the final destination. But the important thing is that we need to continually reflect and we need to ponder to get the new meaning, to get its blessing. So again, this is the Mubarak Quran. I've taken this hadith from Manifestation of Wisdom from Allama Nasir book, where he mentioned this, that indeed the Quran has a Zahiri meaning and a Batini meaning, and every Batini meaning it goes till the seven hidden meaning. So that means that in every ayat there are seven Batini meanings, seven hidden meaning, and according to one other narration it goes till 70 hidden meaning. So these 70s goes on and on. That means this ayat, if this Quran is Mubarak Quran, that means that every concept in the Quran has at least 7 hidden meanings or the 70 hidden meanings, and these blessings or a barakat and the innumerable favors of Quran is always there. And Allama Sahib has asked that if this favorable, innumerable favors in the Holy Quran is there, then who are therefore, like who will be benefit for from these batini meanings? It's for us. So if the Quran is for us, that means it's not for only Zahiri recitation, but also reflection and getting the batini meanings, which Imam of the time has said that since we need to reflect into the esoteric aspect of the concepts of the Quran. And another hadith which I liked, that Imam Jafar Sadiq says that the speech of God, which is Quranic ayat, has 4 aspects. One is expression, which is ibarat, which is a writing, a physical writing. There is illusion, which is ishara, examples, and in those all the examples, stories, story of Musa, stories of Isa, and all the prophet stories, it has a meaning. So there is a ishara, there is an illusion behind all those stories. Then the subtlety, which is lafaif, subtle meaning, a spiritual meaning, intellectual meaning, and realities, which is haqaiq. So we have received ibara ishara, lafaif, and haqaiq. Our tariqa is haqiqi. So we are at the level of haqiqat and the marifat. So shariat, tariqat, haqiqat, and marifat. So if we are at the level of haqiqat or haqaiq, then this is for us. And Imam further says that expression is for common people who just believe in physical recitation of Quran and then they recite the Quran and give the external meaning. But the illusion are for the chosen ones. Subtleties are for awliya and the realities are for Prophet. So we are now at the level of attaining the haqaiq and the lafaif meanings of subtle meanings which are present in the Quran, which are there because of these blessings. Continuing and perpetual meaning we can gain by pondering, by reflecting, by ilmi etikaf, and will receive the blessings automatically because Quran has said that it has meaning and it has hidden meaning and it's mubarak. So continuous blessings will be received. Now coming to ism. So ism is also Mubarak. In Quran it is said that Tabarakallazi. My name, God is saying that my name is Tabarak or my name is Barkatwala. So there are many places where Allah has said or connected His attributes to the blessings or to the Barkat, but these three mentions like Tabarakallazi, Tabarakallah, and Tabaraka Ismahu Rabbika. So blessed is he who, blessed is God, and blessed is the name of your sustainer. So just see the Surah Rahman where there are mentions of beauties and majesties of Quran. In the last ayat it says that Tabaraka Ismi Rabbika Zil Jalali Wal Ikram. Blessed be the name of your Lord, majestic and gracious. And when we see Zal Jalal Wal Ikram and we recite Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum, Ya Zal Jalal Wal Ikram, that means that it has a lot of blessings. There is a blessings, and this Ya Zal Jalal Wal Ikram and Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum, these are the ism of Allah where there are a lot of blessings. Now these blessings are for many ideological, ethical, spiritual, intellectual diseases to be removed. So if we recite Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum, we get blessings. We get blessings for our physical disease also, but more so the purity is gained in our hearts and in our mind through by removal of ethical, ideological, spiritual, and intellectual disease to make us more pious. So it is mentioned in Quran that my name is Mubarak Wala. It's Tabaraka. It's a blessed. So that means that every name in Quran, and when he mentioned this in the last ayat Zal Jalal Wal Ikram, that means that Ya Zal Jalali Wal Ikram has a lot of importance and has a lot of blessings, and it's continuing perpetually. We getting blessings throughout our life, not only for physical but also all aspect of our personality, ethical, ideological, spiritual, intellectual, mental, whatever you say. So when we recite Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum Ya Zal Jalal Wal Ikram, if we keep these things in mind, that this there is a blessing continuously growing and pouring in our personality, that has a lot of meanings. And these names are mentioned in Quran in details but summarized in Surah Ar-Rahman, which is the center of blessing and bounties. And this means that his remembrance through his blessed names are very, very important and very beneficial for all of us. Then the third, we said that it's the blessed place. So the ayat which is here is the story of Holy Prophet Miraj, where Holy Prophet was asked to move from Masjidul Haram to Masjidul Aqsa, and where in the Masjid al-Aqsa, Allah said that this is the place where you will find the blessing. So around which we have kept, Allah is saying that around this Masjid Aqsa, we have kept every kind of blessing so that we may show our miracles. So the internal meaning, you may have gone through this internal meaning while reflecting on what Miraj is, that first of all, masjid is a place of worship, but also masjid is ibadat as well. So if Masjidul Haram is a haram, which is Kaaba, and it's a place as well as it's Isme Azam, because Masjid al Haram is the Isme Azam of the near Isme Azam, or a first Isme Azam, and then Masjid al Aqsa is the final Isme Azam, or the furthest Isme Azam. So Prophet Muhammad was given a first Isme Azam, and then he was asked to move and then progress to the final Isme Azam, or the farthest mosque, which is the Masjid Aqsa. So this marriage, therefore, is not physical, like moving from Haram to Aqsa, but it is a spiritual growth and intellectual movement, and as intellectual movement till the final destination in his own personal world. And therefore, the marriage is the name of inner unveiling and the spiritual upliftment, which is the result of zikri ibadat. So where we say that when in the Masjid Aqsa, when God says that because this Aqsa we have kept every kind of blessing. That means in this final destination, or in this final Isme Azam, we have kept every blessing. So at the level of Hazira Qudus, or at the level of final destination, a Momin or a Salik or Arif receive all the blessings which is contained spiritually or intellectually there in the Imam of the time. And this journey, definitely, when from Aksa, then if we turn it into this time, it is very important that this Jamaat Khana is a blessed place. And if it is a blessed place, that means it's also a kind of, we can do a Meraji ibadat, whereas spiritual and intellectual growth is possible. One can have an intellectual and spiritual growth through Jamaat Khana and through this holy place. So we have discussed that Miraj is actually the story of Miraj is the story of successful ibadat of Isme Azam, and the tawil of this is to carrying the holy prophet from the sacred masjid to the farthest masjid, and he was doing ibadat with the initial Isme Azam, then he was commanded to do to the final Isme Azam, which is to the Isme Azam from the first Isme Azam to the Qaimul Qayamat Isme Azam, or Hazrat Qaim towards Qayamati Isme Azam. And the Miraj of Holy Prophet, therefore, it is spiritual and unveiled many spiritual blessings and spiritual elevation. And he has seen Zikr, he has seen Imam, and he has seen Ali and Noor of the Ali in the Miraj. So these are, I think, the last two slides. So there are many prayers for the blessings, and Prophet has asked to pray for the blessing. So Quranic, one of the Quranic example of the Prophet prayer, that who he that may lend a God a good loan, Karze Hasana. I don't know the exact translation, but it is a good loan, so that he may multiply it for himself manifold. So Prophet was asked um, by God that he can ask people to give him karze hasana, or a loan for a good, and then in return people can get lot of blessings. So it was like giving money or giving anything to Prophet. Similarly, giving we give the son, and we give qurbani, which currently we call it time and knowledge nazrana. So this time, knowledge, and even money, it's a nazrana, because now money has a physical money has a less value than a time and the wisdom. So therefore, knowledge and the time is very important. And this nazrana, or the karze hasana, we give it to imam of the time. In return, we get a blessing. So that is the command which is given to the prophet. And now for the imam of the time, we do the same thing. So God will not take any material thing, but his prophet has taken the zakat, and then he prayed for the blessing, and then these blessings can only be received through the prophet and the imam of the time. So it is very clear that we give those sadaqah or nazrana to purify uh, our sin, purification of our heart. And those sadaqah, nazrana, time and knowledge actually is for us. So it's not that we have given something, but it's we want to receive a good blessing. And those blessings to purify our sin, to have a goodness and the blessing. And also, very importantly, Allah says that verily your prayer is a source of security for them. Now the peace and security are very very important. So because prophet prays, um, after giving the blessings, after the nazrana, and imam has also said that I pray for your good health, or khana vadan. These all are the prayer where imam is giving to us. That means that those prayer are the source of security for all those who gives karze hasna in any form, like we give the son, we give sadka, we give time and knowledge nazrana. There are a lot of other things we give. So these all are for us returning a source of security, a source of blessing, a source of purity. And in the last point, it is clear from this that the source of every goodness and blessing, according to the divine verses, is the blessed prayer of Prophet and his successor. So his prayer and his successor prayers are very, very important. So through him, the prayers we receive are the prayer are the source of security, are the source of giving us the purity, and are the source of giving the goodness. And otherwise, the God mercy and blessings, from where we can give. Today we do not see the prophets physically, but we see his successor and imam of the time and his farman, and we give all the importance, nazrana and karze hasna, through him. And since imam is the fountain head of barakah, so I have just placed few farman where imam have used barakah. Imam said, say in August 2008, in Syria, to all my spiritual children who are present here today, and to your families, wherever they may be. I give my most affectionate, loving blessings. Now, blessings, and then Imam is saying for barakah. So that means my blessing and my prayer is for your barakah. And barakah is a continuation of the work we are doing, continuation of the goodness, continuation of the security, continuation of the removal of all kinds of disease which are there in our personality and all the problems which we have. Because barakah, and then he says that he made the farman with the resolution of whatever difficulty you may be facing. And then in the next farman, he said that I am very grateful because after the gift, Mola made the farman that in Tanzania, he said that for the lovely gift of Fatmid coins, which remind you and remind me of our long journey of Jamaat in worldwide circumstances. I am enormously grateful for this thoughtful gift. And then again, he is making this farman that I hope that the barakat of that gift will be returned to you many, 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 many times. So this gives us the lesson that whatever the Jamaat gives, whatever we give to the Imam of the time, for the Imam of the time, Imam doesn't need all these things, but this is for us. And he made this clear that this gift, I hope that this will be returned in form of barakat. This will be returned in form of giving lot and lot of blessings that will give you peace, this that will give you security, that will give your heart the purity. And then Imam says that give the success in your religious life and then material life. And every time when Imam talks about the life, Imam plays religious lives first, spiritual life first, and then the material life. So this is the best loving blessings we always receive from the Imam Farman. And it's not during the 12th October only or a 27th August only. So if Imam has said barakah, that means it is continuous. Today, now, present also. So every second, every moment, it's perpetual. We're getting the blessing. It's upon us that how we turned to this barakah and to blessing. And Imam has said that those people who are not there, Imam said that say it's about volunteerism and it's about the khidmat, the last farman. Say to them, that means say all the volunteers who are not here, Mubarak. So Imam has used the word, the term Mubarak. And this Mubarak is very important concept, Quranic concept, Islamic concept, and concept of our tariqah. So you may have barakat in everything you do, and in the wonderful services you render to the Jamaat. So whatever service, if it's physical, intellectual service, physical service, service of knowledge, service of time, whatever service we give, we get a return because Imam has said this Mubarak. So Mubarak means continuously we will get the blessings all the time. So, final thoughts that blessings, barakat, tabarak, barakah is a special concept. It has a special meaning. The three important concept which tabarak, barakat is connected with the blessed name of Allah, blessed book, and blessed places. And it is very important that we need to ponder into all the verses which where the barakat has been used, and intellectually we can reflect and we will get the blessings of that reflection all the time. And in Quran it says that do they not ponder on the Quran, or their locks on their heart. That means those who do not reflect on these concepts, their hearts are locked. So, to unlock our heart, it is very important that we need to reflect on the verses and get into, dive into the deeper knowledge with the clarity, with the wisdomful reflection. And when Imam says, say Mubarak to them, so I was thinking that we usually give the expression of happiness and joy and pray. We tell people congratulations. So this is also expression of happiness. But if we tell Mubarak, like Salgira Mubarak, or anything people have achieved, we praise by calling a Mubarak. Then in that Mubarak calling or giving them Mubarak, we are also giving them the blessing of the barakah of whatever they have received. So in every promotions or everything daily life, we give congratulations. This is also a good word. I'm not saying that to remove it, but it is a Islamic concept. If we can use this the word Mubarak, Salgira Mubarak, or wedding Mubarak, or whatever Mubarak, so that would give us the meaning of giving a barkat or a prayer of a barkat or a prayer of a blessing. And it your praise, your happiness, your our joys and wishes will turn into a good continuous prayer. So with that, I'll stop here, and these are the references. Any questions? So thank you.
Subhanallah, 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 Dr. Rubina Sahiba. It was an amazing session. We learned so much, and especially the end when you say that, if we can change the congratulations versus barakat, then the continued flow of barakat is in our life. It's coming. So, Subhanallah, thank you. It also reminds me one of the Quranic ayat that I want to share, please. It's 40 by 81, where Allah says, which signs of Allah you deny? Now, which of the Allah signs do you want to deny? It's so many signs. Every minute, every seconds, we see His signs everywhere. So this is such a beautiful concept, and it's so much deep into it that we are getting more and more deeper tavilat in this. So thank you very much for going so much deeper into this concept. Thank you. So we already have receiving some questions, Dr. Rubina Saiba.
Okay.
Friend is asking, do prophets need Isme Azam? If Musa received Isme Azam from Imam, then why this story of him seeing the fire, the Imam's light? Aren't prophets already elevated to receive the ranks of prophets? So what's the fire significance signifies in this?
Yeah, actually, every because if already prophet is like at the level of loftiest level, then people will say that he was already in that place, what he has done. So he is not the standard for us. So Prophet also goes through Isme Azam and goes through Qiyamah, and Prophet receives Isme Azam from Imam. And at that time, Abu Talib was the Imam of the time, and he received Isme Azam. So it is important. And but since Quran was revealed during the time of Prophet, where Tawil was not that important. It was important that people should understand. There were Tawil, but not all of the people were understanding the Tawil. So there were this was the period of Tanzil, like a physical period. So that period, all the stories were in the form of physical examples. So tour and the light, this physical light, this physical things. So therefore, it is important for us to do the tawil. So, but every prophet goes through, whether in a like longer period or a shorter period, but goes through this journey of spirituality.
Gee, thank you. Thank you for explaining that. Friend has another question here about speaking of getting new understanding upon reflection. How does one know that this is the true understanding, as well as everyone's reflection will receive different understanding. So how do we know what should have been the real understanding?
Okay, so like very importantly, if the concept is within the farman of the Imam of the time, within Quran, and it is within the books written by all of our smiley scholars, then that means that um, this meaning is appropriate. So there is a weightage of we have to weigh the meanings with Imam's Farman and Quranic terms and the Tawil of the Quran. So therefore there are a lot of books written about the Tawil of the Quran. So our dais, our peers, and even Allama Sahib's books, there are a lot of esoteric aspects are written, and they are also reflected through or connected through Quran and Imam's Farman.
Ji, Subhanallah, yes. And we always hear all the references from Pir Nasir Khushro and all the dais also. And special sessions are also going on where we study those books of our Pirs and dais. So thank you very much. Yes.
Yeah.
Friend is asking if our current time is unveiling time of esoteric knowledge. Is this unveiling time going to last forever, or this knowledge will become hidden again as it is happened in the past? For how long will this knowledge be available?
So this is the time of unveiling, right? So we going through the time of unveiling. Like one of the concept of this world creation is perpetual, like the time of veiling and then unveiling and the veiling and unveiling. So it may like not now, but unless we received, like everyone received the time of unveiling, time of veiling will not come. So current time is important because this is the time of unveiling, and if we reflect and if we do little bit of struggle, there are lot of reflection and lot of meanings through the blessing of dua of the Imam. We will receive this direction. So Imam will automatically give us the direction on which we have to go if we seriously uh, strives to get into his guidance. So it may like once this is the time of unveiling is started now, it's not ended. So it started, and it takes a very long, once all of us, like even all of humanities may be unveiled, and then when they unveil they all become nurani, then it may turn again into the time of unveiling. So I'm not sure, but if we see that if life is perpetual from unveiling to veiling, then it may, but the unveiling period is very very long, unless all of us, all of the humanity will turn into the subtle bodies.
Ji, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. That reminds me, I don't know exactly the Quranic number, but it reminds me in Quran it says, willingly or unwillingly, we will all be, going towards the journey and turning into the subtle bodies. So, taking this knowledge
Yeah.
willingly or unwillingly. Subhanallah. We will take a hand raise at this time. Shabnam, you can unmute.
Hi, Dr. Rubina, Yali Mazat.
Well, that.
I have a one question like Zahiri and Batuni, I got it. But Nurani, I still didn't understand what is the meaning of Nurani. मतलब there नहीं-
Nurani basically, like Nurani has two meanings. One is intellectual also, like Nur, ilm is Nur. So one meaning is that one, and if you take it for the body, Nurani body means Jusai Ibdaya, subtle body. So Imam has a subtle body, Jisme Latif we call it, and Imam can come to a Arif in Jisme Latif to show his Nurani powers as well.
So that is like a, for Ruwani people, for
For the
the
people who are intellectually at the level of the loftiest position.
okay, not for the what do you call the
Like if the doors are open, we can
Mhm.
strive, we can go, but it is difficult.
Okay, so it's for
But since
the
this is a time of unveiling, this is a time of esoteric time, so it is possible.
it's for Ruwani as well, for the all the Ruwanis. This one you can get for the
No, not
Ruwani as well.
for the Ruhani. It's
No.
for like Ruhani is they are already there in the Imam's Nuraniyat Badan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they are already there. But for us in this world,
Okay. Like I still didn't get it. How like what we have to do to what we are doing or what we do have to do to get that kind of things.
like
Batuni.
progress spiritually and progress intellectually. So slowly when we progress, Imam has made the farman that when you sit in bandagi and when the doors are open, you will you will see it, and you will be able to discern that okay, now I'm getting the guidance step by step. So automatically you see the progress, and then you see the progress. One of the ultimate progress is to see the imam or do the didar in the nurani libas, in the jisme latif.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Zahiri Batuni, the Batuni is on the Bangi as well, right?
Yes.
Mhm. Okay.
Batini means that in our batin, in our heart, in our thoughts, in our mind. So that is also a kind of didar.
Okay, Dr. Mina. Thank you very much. I learned a lot today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rubina Saiba. It reminds me to this concept that, how we all are like, as friend asked that, what about the Ruhanis, that they don't have the body right now, but they are in the Imam, already in the Nurani Badan with the Imam. But then the question is that when we are taking the ilm, right? So we are knowingly going to go into Imam, merging into the Imam versus the ruhanis, if they were not aware during their physical world, if they were not aware and they are merged. So that's a difference, right? That one is merging without knowledge and one is merging with the knowledge, right? Is that I am understanding it correctly?
Yeah, so we trying to, because physical body and physical world are important, right? So like the struggle is in this physical world. So we remove all the struggle and the boundaries and get into that level. So this is a like a major achievement we're receiving here, rather than just going there after our physical death. Then there is an achievement there also, but this is the achievement of our struggle. So happiness and the achievement and the mubarak badi is more of giving us the happiness in this world, and then it is for others as well, lesson for others as well.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. That's a beautiful connection of the Mubarak Baad, that we all should do those sajadas today, that we are, happily moving forward. Thank you.
Inshallah.
So, friend,
Anyone of you want to comment on any question? I can see a lot of people here who can comment. Khayal is here, and
yes, Khayal, or
Yasmin is
also
here.
Yasmin Karim Sahiba, if you want to
Yeah,
add something anywhere,
yes.
please unmute your mic.
And I see raise hand Shiraz and maybe Khayal and Shiraz Shabnam.
Let's take the raise hand, Shiraz Bhai, and then we'll go to Khayal.
Yeah, Yali Madaz, Rumina Sahib. I have a question. You mentioned somewhere around in your previous slides about Jism Latif, which is a subtle body.
Hmm.
I mean, in our personal world, if we are at the spirituality level,
Hmm.
could we also see the Imam in the subtle form?
Yeah, that's what I said, that if this is a very highest level. So I was, when I was talking about the subtle body, I'm talking about the barakat, the how the continuation of the blessings and the barakat goes. It goes to the didar of the at the nurani level, where we can see the didar also in a nurani body, in a subtle body, where Imam gives didar in his subtle body. And then during that we see that, okay, we are getting fana in that body, so that the highest level of the blessing of the body is also there. That's what I was explaining.
So when you talked about Nurani Didar, is it at the level of sacred sanctuary?
Yeah, we can say that.
That's the highest level, yeah?
Yes.
Uh, and does that mean that Imam as Maulana Sultan Muhammad Shah, may my soul be sacrificed to that Imam, also said that paradise is a prison camp. So does that
Yes.
mean that our soul has got freedom?
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
At that level, we have got freedom, yeah?
Yes.
Then Allama Sahib said that in one of these books about thousand wisdom, he says Allah takes sadaqah of pearls. What does that mean?
Satka of pulse.
Yes, Allama Sahib
Well,
said in
Pearl
thousand in
usually, I don't know the context in which he said that, but usually when Pearl is means that Gohore Akal, and then Gohore Akal, it's a final destination, the sacred sanctuary. Gohore Akal is given to Arif, and then he gives that Gohore Akal to the person who is Fana in Imam of the time.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
And my one final request is that you did beautifully the slides on Hamim, but we haven't received it.
Oh,
Okay, we
I
will.
have given this slide to Kamra Saib. I don't know, but Fadil, I can give the slide to you again, and then maybe you can circulate.
Sure, I will. Okay, I will post it on the
Oh,
group. Thank you.
oh,
Thank you, Shiraz Bhai.
Thank you. Thank you.
Khayal, please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Fariel. And thank you, Rubina Saiba, for allowing us to share some thoughts. I just wanted to share a couple of thoughts that I saw from the chat as well. There was a question about the sources that we're using, or where we can find some more sources from the past, from the previous Dawa material. So I had linked two sources in there.
yeah,
If people missed the link, I can repost it back into the WhatsApp groups. There's two
yeah.
sources that
That that
come to
that would
mind.
be really helpful. Yeah, if you post
Yeah,
in the
there's just
WhatsApp
two
group.
two that yeah, there's two sources I think that will come to mind really quickly was and they're both from Qadi Numan Asas al Tawil. One was
Hmm.
translated by Dr. Shafiq Rani, and another one by Elizabeth Alexandrin. And both of the articles indicate and show how even the previous prophets, in fact, all human beings, have to go through a tarbiyah, training, upbringing, spiritual upbringing, and they all follow that same, like you were mentioning, that if they don't, then how can we look at them as a standard? Or as the Quran says that in the Prophet we have an excellent example or a role model, that we should also take example from their life. And sometimes we should remember that some of the Quranic stories are revealed in such a way, specifically for the seekers to know that they take knowledge and wisdom from those stories. So when we see the travels of Hazrat Musa and all the different interactions, we should be able to relate that, or at least use that. Or actually, I should say this: the teacher can use that story to teach the students. If the students cannot
Yeah.
recognize by themselves, it gives them a material to the teacher, right? Nasir Kursa said that the Quran is like the wood, and even Sijistani said that it's like wood, raw materials, but then the teacher makes the chair. The teacher, the carpenter, makes the actual final product. So this is all materials, resources for the teachers to teach the students. So I've
Yes.
linked both there, but I'll put some more later on. And then something which Shirazba just said about the pearl. Allah takes the pearl. And again, I don't like you. I don't know exactly what the quote was, so I don't want to necessarily overspeak about it. What Sahib was saying there. But what just reminded me is interesting is that he mentioned in the context of sadaqah, and you also mentioned earlier about the Prophet's prayer, how it results in peace, right, for the Mormons and the believers, that when the Prophet prays for them. And the context of that verse, it talks about that we give sadaqah, and the Prophet will accept that sadaqah, and then pray for the believers. So what's interesting about this is that there's a verse that says that when you hold a private discourse or private conversation with the messenger, before you do so, bring some sadaqah to that. Now sadaqah is
Hmm.
normally thought of course, as like a material offering, which is fine, something good, some charity that you give. But the word sadaqah, interestingly, is the same word that you get sadiq from. Of course, we know that sadiq, right, and tasdeeq, which all comes down to meaning sincerity or truth, actually, and verifying something, which means it's related to knowledge. So I think I've pointed this
Very.
out one time before, but this is interesting to me is that in some ways we can think of that every time we go into prayer, when we sit in Jamaat Khana, anytime actually, at home even, and we're entering into a private, it's called munajat because it comes from the word najma or najwa, that's close, something close to the messenger, that when we sit in prayer, the more knowledge we bring to our prayer, the more that we'll get out, meaning we'll receive that prayer of the Prophet, so we'll get that peace because we've brought the sadaqah of knowledge. And the messenger here
Yes.
would be the aklekul, which is the one that informs us. So it's like we're engaging in that relationship with that messenger to receive the blessing of the Prophet. And of course, what is Mullah Hajram says, don't even, he doesn't want us to say our prayer, our dua without the knowledge of it, without knowing the meaning of it. He doesn't want us to say it. Meaning why? Because we're not gonna. He wants that bounty for us. We're not gonna get the bounty if we don't understand. So each time we come into our prayers, I think we should bring one small point of knowledge, and that would be like a pearl, let's say, of knowledge. And maybe that was another way of understanding what Shiraz was referring to, whether that was the original
Hmm.
context or not. But each knowledge we can think of as a pearl, and then in exchange that we get the actual pearl of intellect for exchanging our smaller pearl. Allah will give us a better pearl in exchange for that. So there's a couple of more things I could, but I think I'll let that be for now and
No,
let some
no,
other
no,
people.
very, very important. Yeah, this is very, and this Tatka and Sadik and then Najwa, these concepts are very much related to blessings because it's experiential. We all have experienced this. So this is actually the blessing. It's continuous.
If I may, it reminds me
Aisha.
also of tears at the level of soul, right? Kiria Zari.
Yeah. So there are a lot of examples. Thank you,
And I'll further
Khayal
add that,
and
Yasmin,
Yasmin.
that was great reference about the tears because I was just thinking that even the tears are also, of course, based on love and emotion. But even there, the greater the knowledge, the greater the marifat actually. That the more marifat you have, the greater the worship even. So there's a verse in Quran where it says that when the verses were recited to them, meaning the prophets and also the righteous with them, that they would fall down in adoration and fall down weeping. Why were they weeping? Was it just the emotion of the Quranic verses? That's there as well, but meaning that when you recognize the truth, again going back to the word sadaqah and the tasdeeq, when you verify it and you've confirmed it and it hits you that way, because of the knowledge, I think is what can produce those pearl-like tears, not just regular tears, but the tears of joy and tears of knowledge and recognition. So that was a beautiful reference that those pearls that we bring is also the pearls of our tears, the tears which are based on knowledge.
Yeah.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Good connections, Khayal and Yasmin Karim Saiba. Thank you very much for your input in this. Um, friends, if you have any questions, sir, sorry, Dr. Rubina Saiba, friend is asking, did Hazrat Ali received Isme Azam from Prophet Muhammad? When Hazrat Ali was born, he did not open his eyes until the Prophet whispered something in his ears. What was that he said in his ears?
Um, I'm not aware of this. Maybe Khayal can explain, but yes, every I can just give a general the rule that every prophet and every imam goes through the same path where we are asked to go to the same path. So therefore, they are role model. So, but for this, the something which is whispered in Mola Ali, I'm not aware of. Maybe Khayal, Yasmin, or anyone else can help.
Yes, actually, I know what the reference is probably referring to is the Ginan that mentions that there's an account that the Prophet would not open his eyes until, sorry, the Imam Ali would not open his eyes when he was born until the Prophet came. And I don't know the more details. I'm sure some people on this line probably have even more knowledge about the Ginan tradition that can tell us, but I don't know too much about that. But I think that it's not necessary that we have to take it extremely literally. It could be literal, and also at the same time, of course, it'll be symbolic. And perhaps we should take some lesson and understand that there is a level of knowledge that is private, like we said earlier, private discourse, and that goes from the mouth to the ear. And the ear, of course, is very symbolic as well because that relates to Hazrat Maryam's story. So this idea of whispering something, our tradition is based on that because esotericism requires secrecy and requires someone being ready to receive something, which then they open their inner eyes. So perhaps there's a lot of different references going on there because otherwise I think it would be odd to think that someone who's born as Imam would not have been able to unless something else happened, right? I mean, things do happen, unfold in this world, but we should take a lesson from that. That's all I can say. I don't know the details about that story, but just that it goes back to Ginan.
Hmm. Okay.
Thank you for sharing that, Khayal. Same friend is asking if Imam is giving Isme Azam to prophets, does that mean Imam's position or rank is higher than prophets? In case of Hazrat Ali as first Imam and prophet as Natik, whose position or rank is higher?
So actually, Imam is always there. So Imam is like at the time of Adam, every Natik, Imaman was there, sometimes hidden, sometimes with Prophet, sometimes without Prophet. But chain of Imam is always there. Is a principle we know that Hadith that if there is Imam is not in this world cannot be in existence. So for existence of this world, Imam has to be there. So Imam is has a level, and we may have some session on Imam, different kinds of Imam, different functions of Imam, different levels of Imam also. But Noor is same. So the Noor of Imam is maybe in Prophet, or Noor of Imam is in his successor. So Prophet, um, although it's a Natik, is at a highest level. Imam in the Hudud, it's come later, but the presence and the work Imam does for his Noor does is superior than every level. So it's based on the functions as well. Because if Prophet is not there, like now, there's no Prophet, but Imam is there. So the highest and the loftiest position of Noor is through Imam of the time.
Ji, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Thank you. It's Wakulla Shain Sainahu fi Imamin Mubin. So,
Yes.
and also I feel like that when we have those questions, I think when we learn the Hududeddin or more about Imam Shanas, probably those questions will probably will be answered um, when our understanding will go little higher in that uh, case. What do you think about that, Dr.
Yeah.
Rubina, right?
Yeah, and we have seen the Tawil of Allah in Quran is Imam also. So if we keep that thing in mind, then that means that everything else is under the Imam. But for this world and for this physical world to explain from time to time, we have prophets, we have Imam, and then we have prophets, we have Natik, we have other levels of the Hudud. But currently, all huts and all levels are in the Imam of the time.
Thank you. That explains so many other questions that the same friend had about Isme Azam, that how Imam receives Isme Azam, or if anyone else is giving Isme Azam, or Imam receives an Isme Azam from anyone else. But you explained it very well that all وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَتَيْنَاهُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ. Everything is encompassed in Imam, so Imam of the time.
So
So
Imam receives Isme Azam from the former Imam, and then the Imam who is like the coming the later. So that's how it goes usually.
Shukran, alhamdulillah. Friends, if you have any questions, please share or unmute your mic. Or also I want to give some minutes to Yasmin Karim Saiba to give some closing words, please.
I think
I
Khayal.
think, yeah, exactly. Go ahead. Thank you.
Oh yes,
Khayal,
Musab,
go ahead.
I wasn't sure if we're ending the session, so that's why I raised my hand to see that before we end, if I could offer something else, not to offer any closing thoughts, but just to have another comment. It sounded like we're ending the session though, but if not, then I can offer something. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So earlier you had mentioned about Surah Rahman and all the bounties and the blessings, and that very important verse that comes at the very end. I think we've discussed this one time in the past, but it's always good to revisit it. But at the last verse, meaning after all these 31 times asking us which of the favors of the Lord will you deny, it seems to give us the answer of how would you receive those blessings and the bounties, which you pointed out that it's that the last verse which says how blessed is the name of your Lord, the owner of
Mm.
Jalal and Ikram, right? The Lord of Majesty and Reverence. And so the basic answer is there that it's the name that all these bounties can come from. And like you also pointed out, the name itself is for Barakat. And then also in 73 by 8, it, Allah tells us to remember the name of your Lord and devote yourself to Him. Another translation could be, or devote yourself to it, meaning the name, with a complete devotion. So when we have
Mm.
this full level of devotion and remembrance of the name of Allah, coupled with the fact that it has the barakat within it, if we believe that, then inshallah those bounties can come. What's even more interesting is that verse 55:78, if one was going to read the Quran, Surah 55, from the first verse up until the last, which is 78, they would see in the middle in 55:27 something very similar, which is said compared to what is said later about the name. But here it talks about in reference to the face of Allah, and the reference there with
Mm.
55:27 is وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ, that and there
Mm.
remains forever the face of your Lord, the owner of majesty and reverence, or the Dhul Jalali wal Ikram. So when we get to the name of Allah and the same words are used, it's like an echo should come into our mind that we should link those two concepts, right? The name of Allah and the face
Yes.
of
The
Allah,
face
which
of
gives it more even, I think, a feeling of love because we know name and face, what it refers to, and we know what the name is and we know what the face is. Not that we have to focus on the face, but we know that it refers to something recognizable. And that's why Muazzin Shirazi says that what is the meaning of the face? Many Muslims are wondering, what is the face of Allah? How can Allah have a face? Put all sorts of ideas on it. The most interesting way of understanding, Ismaili Tawil is very common sense too sometimes. We think it's like a mystical hidden knowledge. It is. But sometimes when you realize it, oh, it was right in front of my face. Oh, my face, not pun intended, but right in front of my face the whole time. And what he says is that how do you recognize anything? It has to be through the face, right? If you see a headless body,
yeah.
a man is walking down the street, you'll never know who that man, most likely you won't know who that man is. But the moment you see a face without the body, you know instantly who the person is. So the face is the means of marifat. Without the face, you cannot have the marifat because you cannot recognize what you're looking at, no matter how much you know the rest of the things. So in this case, I think the face is that means of marifat, which means all the bounties would come. So we should be, even more, I think, inspired to remember the name of Allah. If we have Ismi Azam, if you don't have Ismi Azam, the Imam is a living name, living face of Allah. That this can take us to the place where everything you mentioned in a beautiful session today should become a reality for us if we put it into practice and with belief,
Inshallah.
inshallah.
Thank you, Khayal.
Thank you.
That was very important point. Yeah, face of Allah and name of Allah. So they both are blessed. Yeah.
So please, Yasmin Karim Saiba, go ahead and please give us some more, final comments.
Just one reflection or reminder, because it's all about how we can put everything we learn into practice, right? So it's already been said by Dr. Rubina, and also Kayali mentioned this whole idea of the spirituality and intellectuality. So remember, it's a circle, right? It's cyclical. From love is created knowledge, and from knowledge is created more love. So it's really important to have a balance, basically, have the bird, right? Always the bird has two wings. So in Allama Sahib's own words, the reason I want to share this with you is because he himself says that in this ashar there is mention of the highest of the high levels of knowledge. Okay, he says, Ajib bulandi ki baatein hai, subhanallah. Three ashars I will cite. आरिफ ने सुनो दिल में एक ताज़ा जहां देखा है जिसकी तलब सबको वो गंजे निहां देखा. Hearken, the Arif beheld in his heart a new world. He saw the hidden treasures sought by all. ये राज निहानी है और रब की निशानी है आई है जहां से जहान वो आलम जान देखा. It is a hidden secret, it is a divine sign. He has seen the world whence came the soul. Subhanallah. ये राज निहानी है और रब की निशानी है आई है जहां से जहान वो आलम जान देखा. अशआर नसीरी में असरार निहानी है शायद के कभी उसने वो नूर कुरान देखा. Subhanallah. In the verses of Nasir are hidden secrets. Perchance he once saw the light of the Quran. Alhamdulillah. Thank you all, one and all. Mubarak.
Thank you.
Mubarak.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Yasmin.
Mubarak. Dr. Rubina and Yasmin Saiba friend has some more questions, but I know you already told me that we are closing right now. I will take the questions from her and we can go offline with her. Is that okay? I can send you those questions.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
If
Thank
you want any quick thing, then we can answer. If there is urgent, any quick question. Otherwise, we can take offline as well.
A friend had this question that if Imam is Wakulla Shain as Shainahu fi Imam Mubin, then why he needs Isme Azam?
Yeah, so like as I said, that when Imam makes another Imam successor, that Imam needs Isme Azam to get into the position of the Imam. So it is important for important for everyone in this world to get this loftiest position to have Isme Azam and go through. The time may vary. Some for it's a longer time, shorter time because that Noor has to get transferred.
Gee, thank you for a very good, quick making us understand that.
Yeah,
Thank
but
you.
any details we can always have offline discussion. No issue.
Discussion. Yes, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, friends, for joining, and thank you, Dr. Rubina and Yasmin Karim Saiba, for this wonderful, wonderful session for today and yesterday and today. And we look forward to, have some more concepts. You can bring some more concepts to us in near future. Thank you very much. Okay, Yali Madadal.
Thank you, Yalimadat.
مدد
Alhamdulillah, thank you.
Yeah,
Yani
Madad.
Madad.
يعني
Madad.
بدأت
Rubina.
Yeah, Limited. Thank you.
Yeah, Limada, thank you so much.
Yani Madad. Thank you.